Hi, this is GhostDad for Pro Audio Star with a quick look at M Audio's C400 and C600 Fast Track interfaces. These are updates on the Fast Track Pro, a really popular interface that M Audio made, and both these interfaces come with Avid Pro Tools SE, which is a great way to get started recording. We'll take a look at the C400 first. It's a 4-channel interface. It's definitely lightweight, portable, slim, but it has this sort of desktop layout, so when it's sitting on your desk just like this, it's easy to reach for and grab all the controls. Looking at those controls at the front, we have our gain knobs on the front. These control the amount of level we're getting as input, along with level meters right above those. These will light up so you know you're not coming in too hot. 48-volt phantom power switch above that, so you can send power to your condenser mics and other mics that need power. Below those knobs, you have input selectors for the front and rear inputs, since you have inputs on both the front and the back of the unit, and a pad here in case you are coming in too hot, you can go ahead and pad that input. Next to that, we have our headphone volume and our main volume, a nice big knob here, really easy to grab a hold of. And the interesting thing about this interface is that it has 2 stereo outs, so you can actually send to 2 different pairs of speakers when you're working at home. This is really handy if you're mixing on one set of speakers, but you want to reference on a different set of speakers, maybe on a home stereo or like a smaller pair of speakers to kind of check your mix. You can easily switch between those 2 and have them both hooked up. Definitely very handy. We also have this multi button here, which is sort of a MIDI control button that lets you set up multiple take folders in Pro Tools. Taking a look at the back of the unit, we've got our USB connector right here, a MIDI I/O next to that. This is really handy if your controller has a traditional MIDI jack on it. You can send it in, and you can also send MIDI out to your other rack gear or MIDI gear that you're using. SPDIF input next to that. These are 2 digital inputs that you can take advantage of if you already have a pre that has a SPDIF output. Since there are only 2 analog inputs on this, you get the other 2 as digital inputs if you have that outboard pre. Here's our line outputs. This is where I would hook up my 2 different sets of speakers so I could monitor on different pairs of speakers. And then we have combo jacks on the back, which will function as both XLR and 1/4 inch inputs. If you're using an instrument input like a guitar or bass, you can also send that into the 1/4 inches on the front, so you can leave your mics plugged in the back and still have some instruments in the front and switch between them, which is convenient for when you're working at home. Speaking about that separate headphone mix, another interesting feature of these interfaces is that they have onboard DSP. That means I can actually set up effects on the different channel strips on the actual unit, so I'm not adding them in my session. I don't have to worry about adding latency to my session, and I can still get some basic effects dialed in using the mix software that comes with this interface. This is handy because a lot of singers like to have reverb added to their vocal while they're recording, and you can actually add that to it right on the unit and give them the mix they want to hear in their headphones while recording a clean signal into Pro Tools and not setting up anything in your channel strip there. I'll take a quick look at the C600, which is sort of the bigger unit. It's a 6-input interface. It's got a similar kind of layout on the front here. We have our gain knobs along with our input selectors, switches, 48-volt phantom power. Over here on the side, we have a nice big volume knob, just like we did before, along with headphone mixes. 2 individual knobs for our headphone mixes, since we have 2 headphone outs on the front. And we can actually select between 3 sets of speakers on the 600. It has 6 outputs, so 3 stereo pairs altogether, which is nice. That same multi-knob and some transport controls down here, just to make it convenient for controlling your DAW right from the unit. In the back, we've got those kind of similar looking combo jacks on the input. A SPDIF for those extra 2 channels if you've got a pre with digital out. Another MIDI I/O, our USB right here. You can power this one on the wall with a 5-volt, which is nice, and the same 2 inputs on the front as well. So that's the basic rundown on M Audio's Fast Track C400 and C600, the new Fast Track interfaces from M Audio. They work with any digital audio recording software, but they come with Pro Tools SE out of the box, so if you don't have a DAW at home, you're good to go right out of the box. For the best price on these, call, chat, or email us at proaudiostar.com.